folks that are clients of Travel and Cruise Desk, just a little bit about Classic Vacations, and I'll introduce my partner shortly, Robyn Basso from Hawaii Visitors Bureau, and she's the Director of Sales for the travel community. Classic specializes in packaging up your vacations for you wherever you choose to go. We go to many destinations. Currently, we go to the ones that are open. We're 42 years in the industry. We have a lot of financial stability. We've weathered the storm very well, and we have the resources to weather through the duration of this COVID event. We have a global and diverse product menu, so there's something for everybody, both for independent travel, whether it's Hawaii or other places, as well as if you're planning a destination wedding, a family reunion, or a corporate incentive group, we can help you with those. And we work through the Travel and Cruise Desk in partnership with the travel advisors, really to bring you everything that you'll need in a vacation, the backup, the support, the pricing, the promotions, and the peace of mind. So with that, let's take an escape to Hawaii. It's on everybody's list to go. As you know, I won't steal all of Robyn's thunder, but it's about 5.5, 6 hours off the West Coast, a little faster coming back with the tailwind. There are multiple islands to choose from. And really, with Classic, we have preferred partnerships with 84 different properties across the islands, as well as a larger inventory through our extended network. But just to give you an idea, 30 properties on Maui, 25 on Oahu, the Big Island of Hawaii, 14. Kauai, when we are back in business in Kauai, 13, and then Lanai, 2. And in addition to traditional resorts, we have resorts that feature multi-bedroom villas or home-like residences, condominiums, as well as off-site properties through Classic Vacations. And any of the advisors can help you price out a single or multi-island destination for you. Getting around the islands, once you're there, most of the major carriers, of course, fly off the West Coast, but we have contracts with Hertz, Alamo. If you're just interested in a transfer, a private driver, we can arrange that for you as well. And we have contract relationships with National as well. Just some fun resort updates, because Hawaii has been really kind of in and out of the market during COVID. We are now open again. That is the good news. A test is required, a COVID test, and Robyn will speak to some of the specifics of that, but it is now free to travel with the exception of Kauai. There have been, sort of, while the shades were pulled down, some great renovations going on over on Maui, the Western Maui. Some colleagues have just come back raving about what a magnificent remodel this was. They put $130 million into the Western Maui, all new rooms, lobbies, pools, dining area. They've reconceptualized the entire property. So you have some good choices there. Hyatt Regency over on Maui, a little bit down the coast, also is completing the final phase of a $60 million renovation. If you've been to Maui before, this has been a property that is great location. You're right, a couple of minutes to Kaanapali on the west coast of Maui. It's 810 rooms, so it's a larger resort, but it has a nice flow and feel through it throughout. They've added glass balconies, which in Hawaii has actually been one of the things has been trending, with the resorts taking down some of the older concrete lanai or patio walls and putting up the glass so that you can see through to the ocean or through to the treetops from your view. So it's a great transition in the islands. Honua Kai, which is a somewhat newer resort, it's a couple of years old, also on Maui, has 3-bedroom inventory, a 3-bedroom villa inventory for you as well. So if you want to bring the family together, if you haven't been together in a while, or you want to get together with some old friends and have your own accommodations, this is a great way to package up the experience as well. And then finally, we have some destination resorts operated by Hyatt, which is Kaanapali Alihi, Wailea Beach Clubs, Wailea Alui, the Polo Club, McKenna Surf, and others, including Manalani Point and the Lodge at Kukalua. So all of these might sound like foreign names to you, but these are great ways to package up a Hawaii stay, either for your immediate family or for people in your larger extended family or friends network. Finally, coming over to Oahu and to the Big Island, Halekulani, which is dead center on Waikiki Beach. is closed for renovations, but there are other great choices on Oahu. And Manalani, which is a legacy property over on the Big Island, has actually just completed a magnificent remodel, and they've rebranded it as an auberge property. So it is a beautiful experience, 5-star deluxe accommodations, a spectacular beach, and great amenities, and so forth. With that, and with the reopening of Hawaii to the mainland travelers, we now have a promotion in the marketplace, which is our Takeoff to Hawaii promotion for consumers. Book now and travel later. And we have triple car upgrades. We have featured partners on Oahu, Maui, Big Island, and Kauai. So there's something for everybody. The most important thing to consider when you're thinking about travel now is you have the air and you have the land components. Currently, when you're booking air, you're essentially purchasing a travel credit with the airline. So if you don't want to go on the appointed time, you simply call the advisor, they'll adjust the schedule for you, and we'll get you rebooked out to dates that you're comfortable with. If you're booked to one island and you want to change your mind, you can go and do that, and the only thing you're really paying for is any change in the airfare. So there's currently no ticket change fees, and there's no penalties to cancel with the airline. If you choose not to go to Hawaii at some point, I don't know why anybody would want to do that, but if you want to go see your family in Pittsburgh, and it happens to be with United or one of the other major carriers that flies to that marketplace, you can just move the ticket there. So it's a nice way to be very flexible. This is a great time to put your dime down and then figure out the hard travel pieces a little bit later on. And the same goes for the accommodations, lots of flexibility. So again, my name is Paul Giannini with Classic. We've been partners with Jamie and his family of travel advisors for many years, and we're here to help you out. But I have a very special guest today, and that is Robyn Basso from Hawaii Tourism and Visitors Bureau. And let me get out of screen. There we are. Robyn, where are you?
All right, I'm coming on. 1 second here.
So good. And this is the lady that knows everything about everything to do with Hawaii for both of our advisors and our travel clients.
Oh goodness, I have this up and not sure why but you know, it's 2020, so we all adjust as we go here. Let me just pull up the presentation. But Paul, thanks so much for this opportunity. I love to talk about Hawaii any chance I get, but don't be too jealous because I'm based here in Chicago, which is why I am sporting my Christmas snowflake sweater, and I'm just dreaming of the beautiful Hawaiian Islands. But you know, I'm so happy to be here with you, and so happy that we are finally welcoming visitors back again to our beautiful islands. You know, it's been a long road ahead, but it was really just based on continuing to prioritize the health and safety, not only of the residents of Hawaii, but our, you know, incoming visitors, and as well as, you know, our visitor industry employees. So we really took a very cautious and measured and thoughtful approach to the reopening, and it, you know, it has evolved, and I think it's going to get more streamlined and better and more efficient as we move forward, and hopefully have the vaccine available and things get a little bit easier. But you know, traveling, as we know, is not as easy as it was before to do on their own, which to me, the best way to do everything is, of course, with a trusted travel advisor to help really navigate all of those protocols and policies and make sure that you've got all of your ducks in a row so you can just relax and really enjoy your vacation. So I just kind of wanted to talk a little bit about, I'm going to touch on a little bit of the pre-testing and inter-island travel protocols. We'll kind of talk about, you know, why Hawaii, what does it offer as a destination, why it's such a great place to visit kind of after this whole season of being kind of stuck at home. And I'll kind of give you a quick little tour through all of the islands and really touching upon, you know, some of the key experiences, kind of the feel, the personality of each island, so that you can kind of get a sense of what each have to offer, because they're all so really unique and different. All right, so our pre-testing program basically began on October 15th. So Hawaii is still officially under the mandatory quarantine through the end of the year. However, in order to bypass the quarantine, the governor implemented the pre-testing program. So since October 15th, we've had, you know, considerably more visitors coming in. Those numbers kind of slowly starting to increase. The great thing is there are a lot more providers now available, making it a lot easier to travel, and just really at its simplest form that, you know, it is a pre-testing program. So if you want to travel to Hawaii, you do need to take a pre-travel test 72 hours prior to your flight, and that's your last flight from the mainland into the islands. And if you want to travel inter-island right now, with the exception of Hawaii, because they're currently pausing, any kind of pre-testing, but any other island, if you want to travel inter-island, which I always think that's a great thing to do in Hawaii, is to have a multi-island stay. So you do need to take a pre-test in Hawaii to travel to the next island. And the key is the test must be from a trusted testing and travel partner. So we've got kind of one website that we've really constantly been upgrading. We work with the Department of Health, Department of Transportation to make sure that is your kind of one-stop shop for all your updated information. But again, as things change on such a, an ongoing basis, this is when a travel advisor can really help navigate all these policies. So the great thing is Santa does not have to take a pre-test because he doesn't fly in, he comes in an outrigger canoe. So basically Santa's the only one that can get an exemption, but it was really fun. A lot of the hotels have these great traditions where they've got Santa coming in and they've got, photos with Santa and all of that. Hawaii is such a magical place during the holidays. You're not going to see the Christmas trees, but you're going to see the palm trees all lit up with lights. And of course, Santa, he might have a bathing suit on underneath there. I don't know, but just makes it a little bit more fun and unique. And it's a beautiful time to be in the islands. So, what we've been doing too is, of course, during this pause, we're working really closely, with our partners in Hawaii. And, from the airline perspective, we want everyone to feel safe and comfortable at every point of their journey. So in terms of the arrival experience, and that continues to get more streamlined. So we didn't really know how many visitors we'd have at the beginning. So we continue to, restructure the gate area so that people aren't so clustered together, or add more staff at different times. So that process is continuing to evolve. We're working very closely with the Department of Transportation, all of the car rental companies, transfer companies. Of course, our hotels and resorts are all working, really hard. You can get a lot of that great information from Classic Vacations. The great thing too, I always encourage you guys to go to the, if you need information, sometimes the individual hotel websites just has information about specific hotel and what's open, because the reopening is really a gradual process. We're thrilled that right now we have about 90% of all hotels open on the islands, which is wonderful, but sometimes all the amenities might not be open and available. So it's just good, and your travel advisor can, check that to make sure that the pools, the spa, and all those fabulous amenities are open as well. Of course, our local partners in Hawaii, our restaurants, retails, activities, and attractions are all, implementing safety, social distancing, sanitization protocols to make sure that you are safe from your arrival into your departure. There we go. So we're going to talk a little bit now kind of about what Hawaii really offers. And, when you think about what people are longing for, right? After all of these months, I'm longing to be back in Hawaii. That's probably the longest I haven't been there. I was back in February was the last time I was there. So I can't wait. But you think about what people want, and it's this gorgeous natural environment. I mean, it's absolutely amazing. And I always tell people with Hawaii, it's so much more than just sun, sand, and surf. This is the beautiful Kokea State Park, the Kalulao Valley lookout on Kauai. So you have, these gorgeous views and mountains and lush green areas that are just absolutely spectacular. Fresh air and blue skies. This is the summit of Haleakala on Maui, which is one of my favorite places to go at sunrise or sunset. 10,023 feet in elevation. I don't think you can get fresher air or bluer skies than in that location. And wide open spaces, I think everyone's, thinking about social distancing and all of that. And the great thing with Hawaii is that over 75% of our visitors rent cars. So it lends itself so well to social distancing. People can just kind of get in their car and kind of go off the beaten path and enjoy, hiking on their own, some wonderful off the beaten path dining, snack shacks and markets and things that are really wonderful. And the great thing is that, when you have a travel advisor too, they can put together these custom itineraries so kind of where to go without being on a tour per se. But then you really do have that opportunity to experience the best that Hawaii offers and do it at your pace based on what you're looking for. You know, and this, I love this shot. And this is literally how blue the water is. And with this pause in visitors, I mean, the water is probably the cleanest and clearest it's been in many, many years. Hanauma Bay on Oahu just opened, and I can't wait to get back because I can just imagine how crystal clear those waters are. Typically we have about 30,000 visitor arrivals per day, and we were down to about, you know, in the thick of it, you know, maybe a couple hundred. So definitely marine life has had that opportunity to pause and regenerate, and the natural results are pretty spectacular. You know, in Hawaii, it's synonymous with aloha, right? And you hear it as a greeting, but it really is, you know, a value system that's woven into the fabric of the Hawaiian people, and it's ho'okipa, or hospitality. It's one of those intangible things, and those of you that have been to Hawaii before, hopefully you've experienced that, and it truly is a sense of welcome that keeps our visitors coming back year after year. You know, and of course, we can't forget that even though Hawaii is the most remote island chain in the world, we have the unique advantage of being a US destination. So the ease, comfort, and convenience of US travel, but of course, this incredibly rich South Pacific culture. And I can tell you that over the past couple of years, especially the past, I'd say 3 or 4, there's been a wonderful kind of resurgence in the culture. And it's very authentic. It's wonderful, the experiences in terms of cultural practitioners or voluntourism, and these wonderful ways that you can connect to the local people. And we're hoping that next year, some of our wonderful local festivals and events will come back, hula festivals, art festivals, farmers markets, because there's some really unique ways that you can have that really special experience with the destination, and of course, the people. You know, and Paul, you did a great job with highlighting some of the great new resorts. There's been some incredible renovations, but I really want to share with Hawaii, and I love that you shared kind of different types of properties, because there is such a nice, a wide variety, really at every price point, different locations. We've got, of course, the full service resorts that give you the multiple pools and restaurants and spas. So if you want all of that, you know, let me tell you, Hawaii's got some absolutely incredible resorts. Condominiums, which Paul mentioned, Honua Kai, which you saw the caliber of that product. It's incredible and very different from condos on the mainland, because many of them are full service and operated just like a hotel. So you still have your maid service, you know, your restaurant, your, you know, multiple pools and all those things, but you have the convenience of keeping the family together, you know, doing a 2-bedroom, a 3-bedroom with a kitchen, just to make it really convenient and everyone kind of share that space together. And of course, a lot of variety of boutique hotels as well. So I always like to share that with people, because there is such a wide variety of accommodations, but that also can make it overwhelming. If you've ever tried to Google Hawaii, there's just thousands and thousands of results. So not only do you have to figure out, you know, what island, what are the protocols, how many nights do I want on each island, what resort area, and within a resort area, what hotel, and then what room category. Again, that's when, you know, your time and your money and your investment is really great with travel advisors, because they can really help you make sure you're selecting the best value and experience. And I will tell you, so I'm a born and raised Chicago girl, and I lived in Hawaii for 3 years, and I can attest that the weather in Hawaii is much better than the weather in Chicago. So the great thing about Hawaii is it's not a destination that huge peaks and valleys as it relates to travel periods, because we have such consistent weather throughout the year. So we really have only about a 15-degree variation throughout the year. So honestly, from 68 to about 85, you know, that's really kind of the range of temperatures. Water temperatures, 71 to 80, makes really, you know, all kind of water sports throughout the year very comfortable. If you're looking at when the wetter or rainier seasons are, typically it's late November through early March. But the key with Hawaii is that when we have rain there, it's short and localized, you know, so it's not going to really impact your experience. It's not like we have these crazy, you know, torrential rains. It's usually just a short localized rain shower, and then you can kind of go about your day. So the great thing about this is that no matter what time of year you want to travel, the weather is really absolutely incredible. If you're looking for value, typically spring and fall are a little bit more of your value seasons. So that April, May timeframe, and then September through mid-December. Again, still great weather, but you're usually going to find a little bit better, you know, airfares, and you know, a little less in terms of crowds. So it just depends on how flexible you are. So I'm going to give you a couple highlights. I'm going to take you on the quickest journey you've ever had to Hawaii here. And what I really want to do is talk a little bit about, each island, as I mentioned, but also wanted to talk a little bit about kind of what the experience is, because as we all know, anywhere you go now, the experience is going to look a little bit different. And just to give you an idea, in Hawaii, so very similar to other places on the mainland, we're kind of at an act with care level, where basically, though, all of the retail and restaurants are open, and that's, of course, with CDC guidelines and social distancing. Most of the museums, attractions, zoos are all open with, just limited in terms of capacity. Of course, the beaches and the state parks are open as well. And really, it's as long as you can keep kind of 6 feet social distance, you're not really required to wear a mask outdoors if you can social distance. A lot of the state parks and national parks are open. So, you can still have these wonderful experiences. Some of the tours and activities might be opening a little bit later, but there is a lot, to offer throughout the islands. So I'm going to give you kind of a quick little overview here. Of course, you do see the map of the Hawaiian Islands. There's actually 132 islands in the entire chain. I'm going to talk about every single one of them right now. I'm just kidding. I thought you guys wouldn't be paying attention. So, but just 132, but this is the southernmost tip of the arc of the islands. You can actually visit 6 of these 8 islands pictured. So the majority of the flights come into the island of Oahu, which is Honolulu International Airport. Though as we get more and more flights, which is really encouraging, we're hearing a lot of carriers adding additional flights, which is absolutely wonderful and great news as we move forward. So once we get the flights back to kind of where they were, there's a lot of great availability also from many West Coast markets into the islands of Kauai, Maui, and the island of Hawaii as well. And again, each island really has its own unique personality, so I'm going to try to share that as well as some of the key activities. So we're going to start with the beautiful island of Kauai, one of my favorite beautiful shots here of the Nepali coast on the northwest side of the island. So Kauai is the northernmost, it is the oldest of all the islands, over 5 million years old, which is why it's so lush and tropical. It's had all those years to kind of develop all that beautiful, rich vegetation. Kauai is known for films, over 50 movies made here, filmmakers falling in love with the beauty of the island, from 6 Days, 7 Nights, South Pacific, The Descendants. So really just incredible natural beauty. And what's unique with Kauai as well is that 80% of the island is inaccessible by car. So you're going to miss the majority of the island if you're just kind of driving around. So it's a great island to just get out and experience the natural beauty. So what I wanted to share is right now, as I mentioned in the beginning, is that Kauai has done a temporary pause participating in the pre-testing program. And the reason for that is they see the cases rise. And I mean, when I'm talking about cases rise, like 2 or 3. But when you look at such a small island, which with a very small healthcare system, they just have to be very cautious. So this is temporary right now. So if anyone arrives on Kauai, they are subject to the mandatory quarantine. Now, they're basically going to be monitoring that and hopefully be lifting that soon so people can travel. But for now, the quarantine is still required on Kauai, but I do want to share what Kauai has to offer because hopefully that'll be something that will move past. And it's such an incredible island. And, when you think about Kauai and, to me, like the words come up like lush, idyllic, right? Peaceful, serene, immersed in nature. You just get off the plane in Kauai and you just go, ah. That's just the feeling, no high-rise hotels, no hotel taller than the largest coconut tree. People that are drawn to this island are looking to escape the busyness of everyday life, not really interested in crowds or, kind of seeing all the sights. They're more focused on rest, rejuvenation and relaxation. It's a place to just put down your phone and just kind of let yourself be immersed in this incredible jaw-dropping natural beauty. If you're looking for nightlife, not your island. Typically shuts down at about 8 p.m. But if you have people that want that rest, relaxation, the natural beauty, and lots of great outdoor adventures, this is such a great place to enjoy. So some activities that you can experience, again, a lot of great outdoor things. Our beautiful Nepali coast, which you saw in the opening shot, to only accessible typically by hiking, by boating, or by helicopter. absolutely stunning, stunning cliffs. And a couple other unique things, a way to experience the island: zip lines. There's actually 6 zip lines on Kauai, giving you that beautiful aerial view of the island, and ways that you can not see it. You cannot see those parts in any other way. ATV rides let you access private land as well. Kauai backcountry adventures is mountain tubing, which is very unique. Great for families. You can basically go floating down inner tubes down the old irrigation ditches that used to irrigate the sugarcane fields. So some of the most beautiful and scenic views on the island. You'll go through about 2.5 miles. You go through a couple of hand-dug tunnels. So that's why you have the little helmets with the lights on them. So when you go through the tunnels, you just pop that little light you have on your helmet so you can see where you're going. And when people say, well, how many people can do this? Like, would I be comfortable? And I said, well, if you happen to fall out of your tube, number 1, don't panic. Number 2, just stand up. The water is only 2 or 3 feet deep. Kids as young as 5 can do it. So it's really fun for a lot of families. And of course, in the bottom right, our stunning Waimea Canyon, the Grand Canyon of the Pacific, about 10 miles long, 1 mile wide, over 3,500 feet deep. Incredibly viewed by helicopters, you can imagine, but you can also just get in the rental car, kind of drive around, stop at various observation points and enjoy those gorgeous views. Moving on to the island of Oahu, really the most visited of all the islands. You've got the capital city of Honolulu, of course, as well as world famous Waikiki Beach. So when you think about Oahu, it's kind of the polar opposite personality or feel from Kauai. It's about energy and vibrant. It's got a real contemporary feel to it. Iconic, like you've got places like Pearl Harbor. Definitely has that cosmopolitan feel. So if you want the upscale shopping and dining and sophistication of a city, you can have that. But I always think it's important to think about this town and country element, because Waikiki is fabulous and it's transformed in the last, say, 5 years. But people forget that this city is the backdrop of a beautiful tropical island. You can drive 15 minutes outside of the center of Waikiki and be in the middle of a bamboo rainforest. So I was fortunate to live here for 3 years, and I tell you, some of the best hiking and most gorgeous, scenic outdoor activities that you could experience. So it really does give travelers the best of both worlds. You could go out hiking for the day, you come back, you want to do some shopping, some upscale shopping, and have a fantastic dinner. You can do that as well. So, people that love this island are typically, active travelers. You kind of have fun by being engaged. You have the big list of everything you want to do. That's the kind of traveler I am. So I want to make sure I can check off all those items. And really, people that want to enjoy nature, but, that really enjoy also the shopping, dining, nightlife, and kind of that cosmopolitan experience as well. So when you think about some of the activities, of course, world famous Waikiki, from surfing and paddleboarding, outrigger canoe rides. In the distance, you see that beautiful crater, which is Leahi, is the Hawaiian term, nicknamed Diamond Head. So you can go hiking up to the top of Diamond Head. Absolutely beautiful views. Great to do that first thing in the morning. And Waikiki, of course, is that beautiful stretch of beach where you're gonna have the majority of the hotels and resorts in the state are located here in Waikiki. And what a lot of people think about this area, they don't think, what about history and culture? Of course, many of you know Pearl Harbor Historic Parks. You can have incredible view to see the beautiful memorial built over the sunken hull of the USS Arizona battleship, sunk on December 7th, 1941. As the US entered World War II. You've got Iolani Palace. If you did know, Hawaii was the only state that was once a kingdom. So there's 3 royal palaces in Hawaii. They do incredibly, just absolutely so informative tours that are docent led, that you can really find out what it was like when the elite or the royalty ruled the Hawaiian Islands. Polynesian Cultural Center on the bottom there, they are still closed right now. They're really working on kind of, establishing some new formats, and based on kind of the new world we live in, we're looking at potentially a January opening. But it's wonderful, especially for first timers. It went through a major renovation a couple years back, where you visit all the different wonderful Polynesian villages that really give you a sense of the cultures that make up Hawaii. So it's really a full day experience, almost like a living museum to explore. And then of course, on the left, you have the town of Haleiwa. And Haleiwa is up on the North Shore, which gives you that country feel, these incredible beaches, which in the winter months, November, December, huge waves upwards of 40 to 50 feet. So traditionally, they have a lot of the surf competitions. They had to pause those this year. But if you're not a pro surfer during that time, better to be a spectator. But if you happen to be up at the North Shore in the summer months, the water is nice and calm and great to experience. All right, moving on to the island of Maui. And Maui really does have this wonderful blend of kind of sophistication and simplicity. You know, it's got beautiful beaches, it's got incredible resorts and spas and restaurants and golf, but just very close to the resort areas, you know, you can just get in your car and drive through, you know, charming little small towns and wineries and, you know, great little ag tourism experiences. So there's so much that Maui really does have to offer. You know, it really is a laid back island. You know, the vibe on Maui is just very chill. You know, it's kind of about interaction, kind of going on your own and discovering these little small towns. So it's really kind of that very laid back feeling. You can kind of do as much or as little as you want on Maui, which I think is really spectacular. Some of the great activities, if you haven't heard before, the left-hand side is Haleakala Crater. So Haleakala in Hawaiian literally means house of the sun. So Haleakala is 10,023 feet in elevation, about 21 miles around, so large you could take Manhattan and fit it inside the crater. So it is absolutely magical to be up there at sunrise as you see that sun seemingly rise straight out of the crater. You know, you can drive up on your own if you'd like. If you do it at sunrise, you do have to make a reservation, but sometimes it's really nice to go, you know, with a small group or your group, because then you don't have to worry about driving. You can just experience the views. Absolutely spectacular. And if you decide to go up on your own, even for sunset or during the day, the slopes of Haleakala are what we refer to as upcountry Maui. So if you see that bottom middle image, Ali'ikula Lavender Farm, when you drive the slopes of Haleakala, you're going to see farms, ranches, vineyards, charming small towns. They have this lovely winery. Also, they have reopened the Ocean Organic Vodka. I know it's too early for happy hour yet for you West Coasters, but they have really wonderful tastings and tours, and they do beautiful events. So there's really a lot of great ag tourism and wonderful experiences just by exploring Haleakala at your leisure. The right-hand shot is our beautiful road to Hana. So you usually start central Maui and kind of head east to the beautiful heavenly town of Hana, which is beautiful, remote, lush green rainforests and waterfalls. If you can see, there's a couple of curves there. In that journey, it's about 52 miles, but you're going to experience about 617 curves and 54 one-lane bridges. So honestly, it's great if you can hire you can get a private driver, you can have a small tour, you can drive on your own, but you want to take your time, spend 3 to 4 hours each way. You want to kind of just enjoy the beautiful scenery, the incredible cliffs and waterfalls, stop and get some banana bread, you know, on the side of the road, and just really take in that incredible scenery. Whale watching too is very popular throughout the islands, probably most popular in Maui, and whale watch season is really like November, December through like April. And basically these are the humpback whales that migrate down from Alaska just to breed and to have babies in the warm Hawaiian waters. So as I mentioned, you could see them from all the islands, though they really love that channel between Maui, Molokai, and Lanai because it's nice and shallow and comfortable. So definitely wonderful to experience a whale watch excursion, but I'm telling you, sometimes if you're sitting in your beautiful ocean front room, sipping on that Kona coffee, you can literally see those whales breach in the distance. Absolutely spectacular. So I'm going to share a little bit about Maui's sister islands, the island of Molokai, which we refer to as kind of the enlightening island. And, you know, this is really for people probably have been to Hawaii many, many times. This island is rustic, it's rugged. It's really about kind of the simpler times in old Hawaii. People here live very much traditionally. They hunt, they fish, not even one traffic light on the island of Molokai. It's really for people who want to kind of get a deeper understanding of the people and the culture, but a really, really unique experience. And you can even do a day trip from Maui as well. And Lanai, the island of Lanai is really an incredible island. You know, it's really like your own private island. As Paul mentioned, 2 upscale resorts here, 2 Four Seasons resorts, but it is luxury, serene, secluded. So if you just want to rest, relax, and be pampered, and play some golf, maybe you can do that. But if you want some great soft adventure, there's some really, really unique things to do. I've done some skeet shooting. I've done some hiking. They have wonderful horseback riding. They've got a shipwreck. You can go diving. So there really is, if people want to enjoy some soft adventure with their luxury, they can do that as well. And there are day trips as well from Maui over to Lanai as well if you just want to enjoy it for the day. Last island, okay, our island of Hawaii, which is nicknamed the Big Island, as it's twice the size of all the other islands combined. It's about the size of the state of Connecticut. It is the southernmost, it is youngest of the islands, and really the most ecologically diverse, as it's home to 11 of the Earth's 13 climate zones on one island. So it's really amazing as you travel from the west side to the east side. West side is dry, arid, desert-like. You'll see black lava rock, crystal clear blue water. As you start to drive east, you'll see, cattle ranches, macadamia nut farms. Then you'll see incredible waterfalls and rainforests. Then you'll see a snow-capped mountain. Then you'll see a smoldering volcano in one day. So it is really spectacular in terms of the diversity that it offers. And some words to describe it, and these were all based on consumer focus groups, living culture, accessible, definitely active, lots to do for outdoors. It is about exploration. And I love the term boundless because you feel like it's biggest in size but least in population. And of course, it's synonymous with volcanoes. So, if you are someone who is active, adventurous, if you're looking for kind of those brag-worthy, Instagrammable, once-in-a-lifetime moments, this is definitely an incredible island to experience. It also is a very cultural island too. So you can do the outdoor active stuff, but also some really incredible cultural experiences on this island as well. A couple highlights, of course, Hawaii Volcanoes National Park. Many of you heard we had some definite activity in 2018, adding 900 acres of land to the island of Hawaii. So it's amazing to go there and see now the crater is actually 15 times larger than it was pre that last lava flow. So there's over 150 miles of hiking trails, so you can just go and explore. They're adding some new viewing points as well, so people can kind of really witness that incredible impact of that historic flow in 2018. You've got on the left-hand side, you've got Akaka Falls. So on the east side is all lush rainforests and waterfalls, and some very easy and accessible. You can just walk right up. It's about 3/4 of a mile. And you can get so nice and close and really enjoy that. Mauna Kea is actually the tallest island mountain on Earth. So measured from the bottom of the ocean to the summit, over 33,000 feet in elevation. And Mauna Kea in Hawaiian literally translates to mean white mountain. So oftentimes you can see the snow on the top of Mauna Kea. Best way to do this is, they've got these incredible tours. You go up to the summit. So the last time I did this with my husband, I had to say, okay, we're leaving from Chicago in January to go to Hawaii to go to a snow-capped mountain. So that took a little convincing, but I'll tell you, absolutely incredible. When you go up there, you can see 90% of all stars visible from Earth from that very spot. We could actually see the rings of Saturn with a handheld telescope. Absolutely magical. I've never seen so many stars anywhere in my life. So really, really special. When you do the tours, it's nice because you're with an astronomer. So they're pointing out the stars and the constellations. Whereas if I was up there, I would just be looking up like, wow, that's pretty, but I wouldn't know what I'm seeing. So it's really great to have the expert. And just so that you know too, a lot of the hotels and independent operators do stargazing from the land. So if someone just wanted to do something custom at their property or something like that, you can do it that way too if you didn't want to take the tour up to the top. And of course, Kona Coffee is synonymous with the island of Hawaii. They have wonderful tours. You can even roast your pound of 100% reserve beans. But there's a lot more ag tourism throughout the islands on this island especially. There is Big Island Bees where they're harvesting their own honey. There's Hamakua mushrooms. There's Hawaiian Vanilla Company where they have these beautiful vanilla farms and growing vanilla orchids. So a lot of really interesting, cool ag tourism beyond coffee on this island as well. So with that, wow, I made myself exhausted. But I hope just, from that little presentation, you kind of have a sense of, maybe the Hawaii that you thought of before. I mean, it's really, there's so many incredible experiences if you're into, outdoors or culture or romance or spa. There's so much that it has to offer that sometimes it can be overwhelming. And again, it's great when you've got someone who's an expert and can really help you plan and put that together from soup to nuts. And Classic Vacations, Paul, they do a phenomenal job from the whole planning process as well. So with that, I just want to say mahalo nui loa, which means thank you very much. And I don't know, is there any questions?
Very far in your element in the islands, Robyn. That was fantastic.
Sorry if I went too long.
No, it was a full trip to Hawaii. It was wonderful. I
that
think
was incredible.
Thank
Really well done. Really
You
well
know,
done.
there's so much there. You had said something about you driving around getting a car. You know, my favorite experiences on the islands are just those 1 or 2, even 3 set aside days where you leave the resort or the property and you just go get lost, because you really can't get lost on an island. And you find the most amazing little places, the little beaches, the small towns, the shave ice shack. You know, that's where the magic starts to happen in Hawaii.
Yeah. I agree. And a lot of people who travel to other warm weather destinations are so used to all inclusives. And, you know, it's great that there isn't that in Hawaii, because I always say Hawaii is so much more than a resort experience. It really is a destination experience. So there's, you know, of course, beautiful resorts, but so much is, you know, right out your doorstep in terms of dining and experiences, that it's just such a great destination to be able to just experience on your own. I mean, at your leisure, you know, versus just kind of sitting at a resort the entire time.
Agreed. And, you know, I just touch on this one last piece, which is, you know, for folks that are thinking about Hawaii over the winter months coming out of the Pacific Northwest, again, the travel is easy. It is the US. Once you've cleared the very simple steps of getting the COVID protocols in place. I've had several colleagues from the industry go. It's very simple. You go on to the Hawaii Visitors website, you input the information from the test results, you get a QR code that pops up through a link on your telephone, and you scan it in at the airport and you're good to go. It's super simple. And then once you're there, there is enough environment that you can move around and be comfortable with your family or with your loved ones. If you are considering Oahu, Honolulu, Robyn, correct me if I'm wrong, currently in COVID, the hotels are operating at about 50% capacity.
Well, you know, I don't even think anyone's at 50% capacity at this point yet. But yeah, everyone's going to watch that. And Oahu is hoping to move to the next tier by the end of the month. So right now, also the gathering size on Oahu is limited to 5. So that's just important for dining reservations and things like that. But hopefully, I've heard possibly by Christmas that could be lifted to groups of 10. So, you know, everything, of course, as all of you know, is very fluid, as we not only watch the cases in Hawaii, we watch the cases on the mainland just to see, and we kind of follow suit in terms of just making sure people are safe. But yeah, currently, you know, they're all at capacity restrictions. So it depends which island, because you've got state mandates and sometimes you have county or island specific mandates, which can vary slightly. So yeah.
You know, and that's good stuff. And for folks that are traveling in larger parties because of family size, if you're renting a villa, Classic can help you through the travel advisor arrange for in-house chefs or other things. Many of the villas have full-size kitchens, outside barbecue areas. So there's lots of ways to put together an experience that's to your taste and needs. So a lot of good stuff going on in Hawaii. I'll finish with the airfares are ridiculously low right now. They're historic lows. So as we spoke early on, you can book now if you're ready to go later in the winter. We would expect that as demand starts to come up, as we dial into 21 later in the year, we'll see prices begin to normalize again. But really now is a great opportunity to step into Hawaii at prices we haven't seen in some time. So maybe.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that was absolutely wonderful. Thank you both so much.